Solo.
And hello! Welcome to Solo Playthroughs! We're going to outer space today. Make sure my cat audio is on correctly. It is! How exciting! Woo! We got to play through on Nemesis today. And yeah, I'm pretty jazzed about that. So a little note. Yeah, cameras don't love really dark boards. So I had this problem with Gaia Project a little bit. Just one of the many suns in the universe is coming up along this side of our ship, and there's really nothing I can do about that. So sorry, that's a little washed out up top, but ultimately I think we're pretty good. This is a huge game. I am not at the farthest setting that I need to be or could be, but we are pretty set up. Everything kind of fits. We're gonna have to make some accommodations. There'll be some stuff off the board. It is one of the reasons I wanted to do a true solo playthrough before I get into a multiplayer playthrough, because I will definitely have to bring the camera way out to fit all the various components, but I think we'll make this work. This game is indeed better multiplayer, and that's multiplayer co-op. It's probably, I do think it's best. The intrigue is better when you're playing as the game's originally intended to be played, which is semi-co-op, hidden objectives, similar to Dead of Winter, Unfathomable, or the original Battlestar Galactica. I do like Unfathomable better. That's a whole other story. So there is, even though Unfathomable is harder to say, but supposedly, somehow I've been doing okay with that so far. Maybe that's a good sign for my ability to speak on this fine Wednesday. But yeah, this game has a lot that I really dig. It does create some cool stories. True solo can be underwhelming at times. Hopefully we have a really solid playthrough here today. I have played more semi-co-op and co-op than I have played, or two-handed solo co-op than I actually have played true solo, but know the rules. Again, I think there is some utility to featuring it this way first. I am going to fully randomize, which will probably, hopefully, increase the difficulty a little bit. I've had some underwhelming plays of this true solo where I saw one intruder the entire time, and that's by design. There are ways you can manipulate things to limit the number of intruders that you see. Plus, I had some lucky die rolls that really limited how many intruders came on the board. So first, I'm going to move some of this crap off the table. Actually, let me get the intruder bag set. I think that will really help. I just want to make sure I'm doing this correct. And if someone can come in the chat and say hello, that would be super useful. So we're going to get a blank. We're going to get 4 larvae. We're going to get 1 creeper. And this is just knowing the symbology here. We're going to have the queen. The queen is in the house, and we're going to have 3 adults. So again, that's going to be a total of 10 tokens. And then we're going to add 1 additional adult intruder per number of players. So we start the bag with 4 adults, 4 larvae, 1 creeper, a blank token, and the queen. And these are fairly random. I don't know what's on the back. There are different warning levels on the back, so in theory I should have shuffled all of them before I just picked some tokens willy-nilly, but I assure you they are not stacked in any particular order, so I have no strategic advantage there. But again, the lower the number, the better, because you don't get surprise attacks, and I'll explain that as we go if you don't know what that means. We have the intruder board here. The intruder board is going to start with 5 eggs on it. I have it up on a thing to kind of... Zach Lois, hello. It says, what's up? What's up to you, sir? Sup, even better, even less syllables. A sup. I like it. So there are going to be 3 random intruder weaknesses. They can be really helpful. There are 8 cards in the intruder weakness deck. and we will just flip these over. No, we're not going to flip them over. We're going to put them, stop lying, Greg. We're going to put them there. One's going to be this one. If we get to the lab with the character corpse, we can find out this weakness. This one, if we get to the lab with an intruder egg, we can do the middle weakness. And if we get there with an intruder carcass, we could do the end weakness. And my system is failing me already, so it's a little too early for that. So hopefully this works. Phoenix Knight, what's up, Eric? Hit and roll aspects of games like this have always been very hard sell for me. The theme really has to fit it, but this is one game where I don't mind. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. My group's really taken to it. I think we're going to start doing there's the Untold Stories book that came with the first Kickstarter that I have. I did not originally back this on Kickstarter. I got this secondhand, got a pretty good deal on it at PAX Unplugged. Really loved the marketplace there, and it came all sleeved with hidden token, not with folded space inserts, and it was incredible. So, and it's all the sun dropped minis, and it's really cool. So, really happy with this purchase. But yeah, I think we're going to start doing the Untold Stories. There's five. I think there's 5 scenarios. They're all like full co-op with different objectives and stuff. So excited to test those out. We are going to. I also have Void Seeders and Aftermath. Again, obviously I have Aftermath. I have Untold Stories. I think that's where that came together. So I'm trying to figure out how to get some of that content in. There are additional number 2 rooms that I can throw in, and there are 2 additional serious wounds that I think are thematically very, very cool. So next time we come back, I'll probably have some of that content incorporated. There are separate event decks. The Void Seeders are a whole different kind of intruder. So I'll get probably a 2-handed playthrough co-op against the Void Seeders at some point. But for now, we'll just stick with true solo against the original, against the base game Nemesis. So this is the coordinates deck. There are 8 of them. I'm going to roll a d8. I got a 5. So this is where we're going, for better or worse. We don't know where we're going. It's either going to be Mars, Earth, some deep space thing, or some unknown planet. But we want to make sure it's going to Earth, maybe, depending on what our sole objective is. This marker is going to start on the B. When I flip that card over, whatever B is, that means that's where we're going. So if I want to go to Earth, and Earth isn't B on that card, we are going to have to move this to match where Earth is. So if Earth is D in that card, I'm going to have to move this to match D. Our coordinates that card will never change. What we can change over the course of the game is where we're going to on that card, as indicated by the letter that this marker is on top of. The other marker that starts on the board is here. There are 15 rounds. If at the end of 15 rounds, this ever reaches here, game is over, no matter what the game state is. So we have 15 rounds to get done what we want to get done. I'm going to put the rest of these intruder weaknesses away. We have our solo. So off the table over here, we have all our craftable items. So we have Molotov cocktails, taser, flamethrower, and antidote. If I'm going to say anecdote at some point over the course of this game, just kind of roll with it. Totally different thing. Antidote is there. We have our green item deck, which I will shuffle. You can get a green item if you're in a green room. Makes sense. You can also get a green item, choose to get a green item if you are in a gray room. The green items have a lot to do with, dressing serious wounds, healing light wounds. There's some clothes in here. There's some other stuff that is super, super nice. All the decks are really helpful. I am definitely not an expert as to exactly what is in what deck and what the breakdown is. I don't think that this is that kind of game for me where I'm going to want to min-max it all that much. Zach Lois says, love that too. Really gives you that Prometheus feel of corporate agendas and killing off your crew. I am sweating. See what outrageous temperature my wife put the heat on today. Oh, not her fault. It's fine. It's just it's just hot. I guess we're having a wee bit of a heat wave. Again, maybe speaking will be harder than I predicted. Man, I what was that word I nailed before? I said a word and I nailed it, and now I'm just falling apart. Look at me. It's too early to fall apart, Greg. Hang in there. So we have the red item deck. So we've shuffled the green item deck, the yellow item deck, the red item deck. Again, the items will be off the board. I do not have room to fit all of this crap on the board. Next to that is the decks that you're going to see a little washed out. Again, the sun is super bright coming from that side of the ship. The Nemesis that we are on. This is the name of our little ship here. I'm going to put this up here. It seems a little bit of a dubious naming on the part of the engineers, but that's fine, or the corporation that named it. And the ship is heading that way. So we have the cockpit here, and then we have 3 engine rooms, and then in the middle we have the hibernatorium. When we wake up, we were supposed to be sleeping longer, but we wake up, our hibernation was rudely interrupted. Something is clearly afoul in the ship, and when we woke up, we found one of our brethren, a dead Marine, in the middle of the hibernatorium, and we were like, oh, what is going on? So that is where our story will start today. We have the Intruder weakness. The Intruder attack deck is going to be there. When the Intruders attack, we'll be pulling a card from there. We have the event deck here. We have this little scanner, which we're going to need as we take some contamination cards. Hopefully we don't take too many of those, because that could be un problemo. This is going to go here. We're going to have the contamination cards themselves. When we gain one of these, it could mean that we are infected, and then there are certain ways to scan them to see if indeed that is the case. However, do not scan too aggressively, because if you find out you are infected, you might be putting yourself one step away from certain death. So that is a problem, especially in a true solo game, because guess what? That it would be the end of our little journey here together. We have the serious wound deck. You're allowed to get 3 serious wounds, but however, once you have your 3rd serious wound, if anything happens, light wound or serious wound, you are dead skis. Doesn't matter if their wounds are dressed. It doesn't matter if those wounds are not dressed. It is what it is. It's a problem. Now, note that what was I going to say? Note that even if you have 2 serious wounds, you are already on precarious footing. There are a number of things that are like, oh, you have 2 serious wounds? Oh, you dead. Bye-bye. And that's also very sad. These are the engines. One of these engines says working. One of them says damaged. I have no idea which is which on any of the 3 engines. So we're going to just roll the die. 1, 2, 3 will be the bottom. We'll put that on top. 4, 5, 6, I'm going to keep it as it is. So that is a 5. So if we are going to reach Earth, not only, or we might want to reach Mars. I don't think in a true solo game we're going to want to reach Mars, but in a semi-co-op game, we indeed might want to reach Mars. I did end up going down with the ship as well, but I managed to make my friends super happy when I changed our destination to Mars last minute in a game last week. It was super fun. Again, didn't ultimately work out for me, but still was a very enjoyable moment of my life. So we have the engines here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 3, so we're going to put that one on top. And then finally, we're going to do the last engine. So again, we need 2 of these 3 engines to be working. So if 2 of these engines say damaged, guess what? We ain't getting anywhere. It is something you might want to maybe flip that coin if you're running out of actions, or if the ship is overrun with, intruders on that side of the board, but we'll see how that works out. Fight, that's a 2, so we're going to put that on top. Fighting too many intruders is indeed not something you're going to want to do. You have limited ammo, and these intruders can be quite hard to kill at times. So I'm hesitant to go too crazy here. I mean, some of these are going to be better than others, but how do they say pick 2 and choose which one you want in the solo mode? No. I mean, normally you get 2 character cards, and then you pick 2, and then you choose one, and then the other one goes back. But we'll see. We'll see which floats my boat. We have the scientist or the pilot. We'll go with the pilot. Why not? Make that happen. It was the first one that came off the deck anyway, so we're going to go with the pilot, and that means I'm going to need to get a few things. So these can come off the board. Hello, pilot. How are you? She is the green character. And I'll put her, again, a little bit raised up so it kind of fits on the board a little bit better. Actually, I can't do that. That's not going to work because I need room for cards. I'm going to do it this way. That will work. I dig that because I'm putting her action cards above her, and then I'm probably going to want to move that up. All right. There's a lot to fit on the screen, kids. All right, so we're going to get her action deck. Every character starts with an action deck of 10 cards. You are the scout. You are the pilot. So we have our 10 cards here. Actions are going to cost a number of cards. If it says 0, it just costs discarding that card itself. If it says 1, say I was going to do this repair, I'd have to play the repair card and additionally discard one other card. The quicker I go through my actions means the less actions I will have in a certain turn. This game does one of those things that I just don't like because it's not, other games do it, so it's not an Awaken Realms problem. So there are turns and then there are rounds. So rounds exist within a turn, which I find a little bit counterintuitive, but again, we will struggle through that together. But there are 15 turns in the game, and every turn can have multiple rounds, just to be super annoying. So we're going to put this sucker over here. I mean, are there people that find that more intuitive? I guess there are. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't have designed it this way, but it's like such a frustrating thing when that happens in games. I'm like, oh, stop. That's just not how language is used where I'm from, and it's really annoying. So, all right, but I digress. So we're going to put the action deck here. So that'll be a draw pile, discard pile. You're supposed to put the draw pile here, the discard pile there. Obviously, I don't have room for all that. Although maybe I can make this work. I'll be able to spread out. Actually, I'll probably want to put my items there, though. We're also going to need to get her special things. So we're going to have 2 quest items and her starting weapon. So we have the pilot. Here we go. Starting item. It is the energy shotgun. It only has 2 ammo. It does have that symbol. That means we have to put it in one of our 2 hands. So that's going to be a bit of a problem because now we can only pick up one other thing. Or we're gonna have to drop the shotgun, and then these cubes will represent the ammo that we have. So we have 2 charges. It is an energy weapon. Every time you deal at least one injury, deal 1 additional injury. But and we can only use that in combat. It has that combat symbol up there, and I'm just gonna tuck it under my board a little bit. All right, now we have these other 2 quest items. We have the orbital maneuvering system. I could discard 1 card from my hand to activate this item. Additionally, though, I will need to discard an energy charge. I will find energy charges in the items. I'm going to put this over here. That'll be fine. And then we have the other quest item, which is the evacuation key. That does cost 1 card for me to do this. I could activate this item, but I have to activate it in the fire control system room. When this is activated, it gives me the evacuation key. If I'm in the evacuation section rooms, there are 2 of them. There's evacuation section A, which is linked to this escape pod up here. There's evacuation section B, which is linked to this escape pod down here. If I'm in that room, I could lock or unlock one of the escape pods in the evacuation system. This could be super, super important because in the real game, the things only unlock when you find the hatch control system, which can be hard to find. Plus, it costs you 2 cards to do that. And the second problem is that, or it unlocks if a character dies. However, if a character dies in a true solo game, guess what? Game is over. So this pick pilot card, I'm just going to put over there. We have a couple of help cards, which are really helpful. I have them over here to my left, just kind of more saying that for myself, because I'm taking stock of where things are on the board. I'm going to put the Nemesis bag over here. And let me get speaking is hard. Let me get the rooms out, and then I'll grab my solo objective last but not least. All right, so I have I think there are 9 number 2 rooms in the base game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There will be 5 number 2 rooms that start on the ship. That we are on the starter, this side of the ship that has like the red triangles. That is the recommended that is the recommended side of the ship to start on. The other side of the ship is more for, I don't know if it's for the untold stories. I forget. There's a reason why this side of the ship exists. It was definitely unlocked during the Kickstarter for that. Now, speaking of Kickstarters, they did just announce there will be a 3rd Nemesis coming out. There is a second one called Lockdown, which instead of being on a ship, you're on a space station. I understand there's a little bit more intricacy, some more, mechanisms. I'm not totally feeling the urge to get that one, or the 3rd one, which is where you're actually going onto a planet, I think. But someone who might know more can just definitely put that in the chat. So this is just the base game. We'll see where I go with Nemesis in the future. But if my group continues to want to play this as much as they currently do, then indeed maybe we'll start expanding our Nemesis collection as a group. So we have the room 2 here, room 2 here, room 2 here. I'm definitely a late adopter to Awaken Realms. You're going to see a bit more of that this year. I did just have my first contact with someone from Awaken Realms recently, but they just announced a bunch of Kickstarters. I'm hoping to get in on at least one of them, so we'll see. But I have Tainted Grail, the City of the Kings of Ruin coming, so I'm excited about that. I do have Ether Fields, which I'm looking forward to start exploring that. I got that in a math trade, or I got that in a trade to make the math work when I was trying to get rid of Return to Dark Tower. So we'll see how that I take to that. That game came out. It had a bunch of not so great reviews. Supposedly they've absolutely fully updated the system, got rid of the grindiness that people were really complaining about, and actually there is a really good game there. It was just hidden behind a bunch of crap. But we'll see how I feel about that. I mean, I've organized it. It looks pretty cool. It's pretty striking game art wise, and component quality. Obviously Awaken Realms is always bringing it with the component quality. So these are all the number 1 rooms. They all will be on the ship for sure. All right, you have to know what's going to be there. And then we have this basic room A cheat sheet to help us figure out what we can do in every room, etc., etc., etc. Again, I played this enough that it should be pretty intuitive for me as I see it, but I will have to refer to the rules now and again, I'm sure, because it's one of those games. So these are all going to go face down, and I'll just go around the ship clockwise, starting from the bottom left corner, like I did. So this is here. So among these rooms, we're going to have the operation room, we're going to have the fire control system, the hatch control system, the 2 evacuation rooms. We're going to have the canteen, I think maybe that might be level 2. We're going to have the nest where all those eggs are. We might have to destroy that. We'll see. But there's a lot of rooms here to explore, and it can be hard to do in a true solo game where actions are a premium. You're going to have to be a little reckless in doing it, and you'll see what I mean by that, because there's movement and there's careful movement. You cannot careful move this whole game and get what you need to get done in 15 rounds, at least in my limited experience. Woo! Unfathomable. Yeah, that was the word I was struggling with. Phoenix Knight, as for the game, get away. Ugh! You're probably going to get hit a lot in this one. Yeah, with the pilot, that's not going to be great. Jonathan, have a group that loves Betrayal at the House of the Hill. I'm not a fan of that game or Dead of Winter, but will play. I think this game would help, though, so I'd like to give it a try. Hexan 666. It is a real table hog. I usually have a side table with the cards on it because it doesn't fit on my table. And Zach Lois says, yeah, I think their 3rd game, you're an actual fully equipped Marine team sent in to clear the aliens out, which would be interesting. And it's interesting to see how they do like the objectives with that situation and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you don't blame them, man. This game is still a big hit. So why not? So I'm going to grab 2 of these objectives. In a full co-op game, you don't get 2, you just get 1, and that's what you're stuck with. In a true solo game, you'll get 2, and then you'll have to choose which one you want. You make that choice the first time an intruder enters the board. In order for us to win the game, we need to not only fulfill the objective that's on our card, but we also need to survive. So I'm rolling that die. It's a 7, so we're going to get this objective, and then we're going to get... Interesting. And then I'm going to roll a d6, which is, where's a d6? I'm going to roll this, a 6. So 7 and 6 coming out. And then we'll see. I might take the harder one just for kicks because, I think I might be a more interesting video. Hold on one sec. Hexan 666, retaliation looks like it'll be more combat based than survival. Yeah, I agree with that, like Aliens, and look how that worked out. I don't know enough about the IP, but I'm super curious what's meant by that. So one of the few changes in a co-op game, or I'm sorry, a true solo game, is we're going to put all these exploration tokens on all the tiles. So let me do that before I get too wrapped up in my objectives here. And then when you flip them over, it's going to tell me how many objects are in a room. Now, in a true solo game, you take that number, you divide it by 2, and you round up because, it'd be a little crazy to have as many objects as you would get otherwise. In a co-op game, that is not the case. And obviously, in a semi-co-op game, whatever the number is, that's what you get. The more objects you get, the better the better you feel. No. So there are 4 exploration tokens that are not in the game. The more items you get. So again, there are objects and there are items. The more items you get, the more likely you'll be able to craft one of those cards, and those cards can be extraordinarily helpful. If I can get a flamethrower quickly, that would really help because my shotgun kind of sucks. Even if I can get a taser, that could be helpful. The Molotov cocktail, I can start a fire somewhere. So we're gonna have to, get something to help us out because we're a little bit undermanned or underwomaned. We're under something. We're underarmed. I don't know. Underarms. Figure it out. I'm having trouble speaking today. No man left behind is the first objective I got. Send the signal, and all rooms on the ship must be explored. So this objective, if I was going to choose this objective, I would need to make sure I explore every single one of these ship tiles, which is going to be interesting because it's going to mean I'm going to be triggering at least a few encounters. And I need to send the signal. I can send the signal from the comms room. It's a pretty excellent thing to do. Exploring all the rooms might be a little counterintuitive for the pilot because the pilot has an ability to actually look at what a room is, and she might not want to explore all of the rooms. The other thing we have is cutting off the head. We have to send the signal, and the queen must have been killed. I don't think that's happening, kids. Or send the signal, and the ship must have been destroyed. So to destroy the ship, I'd have to start the I've never actually done this. I've never seen it done in the game yet. So this is going to be interesting. I'm intrigued by this. I'd have to send the signal. So I'd have to find the comms room still, and I have to send the signal. If I send the signal, that's like it's a light switch. Once I turn it on, we're good. I just put that there and to indicate that I've sent the signal. And the ship has to be destroyed. So to do that, I have to start the self-destruct sequence. And again, there's a certain room where I can do that. So if I send the signal and I start to self-destruct, then I need to find a way to get the heck off the ship. I can't do so normally there's 2 ways you can end your game. The one way is you can go to the hibernatorium. As long as your ship's heading toward Earth, you're like, all right, screw this. I'm going back to sleep. And presuming I'm going to be safe, despite the dead Marine that was there when I woke up, something like that. I guess thematically, if you could go to sleep, you can change the atmosphere where you can try to kill off the predators. I don't know, man. Or the aliens, or not predators, aliens or intruders, whatever the hell they call them, whatever IP that they're not using, for sure. So yeah, I think that's a weird way, but it makes sense to me within the context of the game. But the other way, that if we try to destroy the ship, the only way we're going to get off the ship is by finding the this thing. What is this thing? Finding the escape pod and getting the heck out of Dodge. Any character there is presumed to make their way to Earth with that escape pod. So that is what it is. So the flavor text here is there are some empty hibernation pods here. We need to make sure everyone is accounted for. And then we have, so basically, thematically, we're going around to make sure the ship is empty before we ourselves get the heck off of there. Now that way, if we did this objective, we can do the hibernatorium as much as we could do the escape pod. Either way would be fine. And it doesn't really matter where the ship is going. The ship, we wouldn't have to worry about coordinates at all. The ship can go wherever. We just don't care. Cutting off the head, this one says, in a no-win situation, the least you can do is to go out with a bang. So that bang is going to be destroying the ship. Some of that is going to neutralize the pilot's strengths. She is the pilot. She has some abilities to manipulate where we're going and to see what those coordinates are, to make sure that we're going to Earth. But neither of these objectives really care about that at all. So is what it is. These are the objectives we have. We're going to have to make them work. I will put them. Where do these? Maybe I should have got a bigger setting. I was ambitious trying to fit this all here, but that'd be good. It's good for us. All right, we'll move this, and I'll move these engines maybe, and I can put them over here. Not that it's really that readable. Remember, my camera fisheyes a little bit. I'm still working on a webcam, a nice webcam, but still just a webcam. So sorry about that. A little bit of a fuzziness. But no man left behind or cutting off the head. As soon as we have our first encounter, we're going to discard one of those, and we'll be left with the other. That's a little bit better. All right, fine. Woo! Hexon, they got their butts kicked. Eric, underpowered might be a good word for your current situation. Jester, hello there, chat. And Phoenix Knight, hello, Jester. How are you, sir? All right. I think that's it. I feel good. I don't know. There's dice, there's stuff. We got our things. We went through our objectives. I'm not forgetting anything, right? This is that moment every game where I'm like, what am I missing? Nothing. Oh, I'm missing my person. I'm green. I'm here. Hi. So that's it. Let's go to turn one. So turn one, we are going to we're here. This is represents the turn you're in. Then it goes to the next turn in the round order. So in the player phase, everyone playing, so me, is going to draw up to 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Super exciting stuff. What do we have in my hand? So it's going to be tight. I will find a place on the board where I can lay these out. So we have demolition, search, plotting, interruption, and knowledge of the ship. Interruption is kind of an FU card that's really, really fun in a semi co-op way. Not all that useful in a true solo game. Except for the idea of discarding so you can do your actions. So what are your actions? Your basic actions are movement, shoot, melee attack, pick up heavy object. By the way, don't do a melee attack. It's a bad idea. Pick up heavy object, trade, or craft item. Those all cost 1 card. So you have to discard that 1 card and then you can move to another room. Then you have careful movement. You have to discard 2 cards and then you get to the next room. And the difference between movement and careful movement is that normally when you do movement, you have to roll a die, and whatever number comes up, if it's a number, there are some exceptions, you have to put a noise marker in the corridor corresponding to the number that you just rolled. However, with careful movement, you can move and then you can choose where to put this noise marker. Why is that important? Well, if there's a noise marker there and I move here and then I roll a 1, that means I have to put a second noise marker here, which would trigger an encounter. An early encounter in this game with the pilot would be a super kiss of death, so careful movement may be really helpful. But the problem is careful movement costs 2 cards. I only have 5 cards in my hand, so careful movement is going to make me burn through there's going to be an opportunity cost with careful movement that I'm going to get less things done every turn. I will have fewer rounds to get things done, and that means that I'm going to start moving toward that 15 a lot quicker. One thing I should mention, when you're playing in a semi-co-op way, you have to do 2 actions. If you do 1 action and you have no more action to do, you pass and you're done for the round. So it's not like Terraforming Mars where you can do 1 or 2 actions, so you can like soft pass. Here is like when you pass, you pass. So it's 2 actions, next player, or it's 1 action and you pass, or you just pass. And that could matter every turn, every round you have within a turn. That could matter for certain weaknesses. That could matter if you're in a room that has a fire token. There are certain reasons where you want to kind of keep track of that, even in a true solo game. Jester with a super chat. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Ben O says, Arg, I'm stuck at work, but we'll watch this on the bus home later. Love this game. And then Jester said, thanks for all you do, brother. It's all good. Sending some money so you can buy a new camera. Yeah. It's definitely in process. I will say that to do the upgrade I want to do is going to cost a certain amount of money. I'm at the place where incremental change, I'm kind of past that. So it's a matter of like big change, or I just kind of keep the status quo. And the big change obviously is not very cheap in relative to what this channel brings in, which, is money. But not that much, which is fine. I love it. It's fun. All right. Let's figure out our actions. So how do I want to explore the ship? The question is, where do I want to go? Normally with the pilot, I'd be like, hey, let's go make sure we're going to Earth, or let's go to the engine rooms and make sure we're going to Earth. I'm trying to destroy this sucker, so I really don't care about that. My options are... I have a search thing here, which is good. Demolition's not going to help me. That's more to do with doors, and I'll talk about that as we go. This is a room with a computer. I can check a word on it, so this piloting card is kind of useless. And then interruption, discard to cancel any action. I already talked about that. Knowledge of the ship. Here we go. I could look at any one unexplored room tile and then return it face down without looking at its exploration token, which can be helpful because exploration tokens are pretty sick. So let me see what... I'm more worried about the level 1 rooms, right? Because I'm looking for either the fire control system, or I'm looking for the comms room because I need to send a signal. So if these are level 1s. Let me kind of see what one of these 2 rooms are. So I'm going to discard this card. Now it has a 0, so I don't have to discard any additional cards. And then I'm going to look at this room. Now I'm not going to look at the exploration tokens. I'm just looking at this room tile. It is the emergency room, which could be really, really helpful in case I get a larva, stuck on my chest, which we will talk about that in a little bit. So I know that we know that emergency room is here. I'm just going to put a token on there to remind me that I have explored that, and hopefully remember in my goofy brain that that is the emergency room. My brain, it's goofy. All right, so I'm not that interested in going there anytime soon, but it could indeed be helpful for later. Let me then try to explore this side of the ship anyway, and then I'll keep using my piloting ability to see what's going on over there. Or I could actually just come around this way, get this whole corridor taken care of. I think that'll make some sense. So I'm going to discard interruption, and then I'm doing the basic action of movement, and I'm not going to do careful movement. So now I move here. First thing I do is I flip over this. Oh, whoo, silence. It means I get the effects of the effect. It means I don't have to spend any, I don't have to put any of these noise markers on. So the interesting thing about the silence, had I discarded 2 cards to do careful movement, that overrides the silence. So silence and danger can appear on these tokens, and if you do careful movement, you still have to place just one thing if you put danger, and you have to place one thing instead of 0 if you get silence. So careful movement can blow up in your face at times. So this was really helpful. I got this now. I wasn't doing careful movement, but I don't have to place a noise marker anyway. We flip over this number 2 room, and is the hatch control system. Oh, that's a level 2 room. That's pretty cool. Lock, unlock, 1 escape pod. I didn't realize. I thought it was level 1. That's pretty strong. It means that getting this evacuation key isn't as important. But yeah, I'm not sure I want to do that now. I mean, I could do it now. Heck, I could just could make some of this a little cheese. Oh, but yeah, I still have to make sure that I have to send a signal and make sure the ship is going to be destroyed. So there is some benefit to doing that, but then I'm hopefully going to find the fire comms room anyway, and I definitely don't want to burn 2 more cards. When I flip this over, it tells me that there's 1 item, so I'm going to make sure this 1 is lined up to that arrow there. Every room has an arrow there, so just figuring out where the number lines up with that. So again, 1 divided by 2 is a half, rounded up to 1, and that comes out of the game. So that technically would be my first round. My next round is I'm going to do a search action. So I'm going to spend this. We're going to rotate this from 1 down to 0 because I found the item in the room, and now I can get an item of any color because this is a gray room. I'm going to get a red item because I'm going to need some help fighting some intruders, because I don't really love the shotgun, so we'll see. So when you get an item, you draw 2, you keep 1. Self-destruct key. If you're in a room with a computer, initiate or stop the self-destruct sequence. Useless if the self-destruct marker is at any yellow space. That's super interesting. And then the smoke grenade, used in the room you're in. All other characters in this room lose 1 action card each. You move to a neighboring room, and intruders don't attack you during this movement. So I have a way without even finding the self-destruct room. What's that room that you would normally do self-destruct? That's a really good get for me. What? Oh, you call the generator. So without even finding the generator, I now have a way to unlock a hatch, and I have a way to start the self-destruct sequence. So all I really need now is to find the comms room, and I could send the signal, start the self-destruct system, and then hopefully just find a way to deal with any intruders right at the end, and I can get out. So things are looking pretty good. Yeah, this card goes away. I'm not going to use that. So I keep the self-destruct key. But again, that only works in a room with a computer. If it has a computer, it will have a symbol. The cockpit does not have a computer, even though it looks like it should have a computer. But that's a whole other story. I digress. I am now going to actually use the hatch system because why the heck not? Because now that I found that, I'm feeling a little bit more bullish about my odds here. So I'm going to discard 2 cards because that is the room action. That's what it costs. It's going to be 2 cards, and I'm going to unlock. And that's better because I don't actually want to move right now because I might end up in a room that I'm not super excited about. So I think the best use of my turn right now is to discard 2 cards. Now it's a little dangerous to discard cards if you think you might have an encounter during the event phase, but we should be pretty good on that. So I'm discarding those 2 cards and I'm going to unlock number 1. Now, again, escape pod number 1 is there on the board, but it does not mean that it is there. It's only where the evacuation room A is, and escape pod number 2 is over here. It doesn't mean it's here. It's where evacuation room B is. And when I find the evacuation rooms, I will indeed move them from there to closer to the room because I think it's better and less confusing visually. Eric says, granted, I'm the new kid on the block, but YouTube is really a labor of love for 95% of the content creators on the platform. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then Jester says, yep, Phoenix Knight, it's true. I have not made a cent from YouTube yet. It's all because I do it for myself and enjoy doing it. And that is a good start to the game so far and a good draw of cards. You should win for sure. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it was. I remember. Yeah, my channel was a lot smaller. Like whenever I put out the top spirits video, I think I've told this story before. I put it on like some Reddit page, and some dude was like, just railed against the top 10 and the idea of a top 10, and then he was like, oh, but I see nice hustle, and I'm like, hustle, dude? Like, how much money do you think I'm making? Even now, like it's just funny, man. Like people are, it's like if you don't like it, just don't watch it, man. Like I don't know, people are. Or, or like the number of complaints you get when you're like starting out, you're still figuring things out, and it's all free, and it's like, really, dude? Like, just watch someone else, man. Like, I don't know, dude. It's funny. Oh, YouTube. It definitely has given me more than I've ever deserved. So this is not. It's I find some of it. You have to like laugh or cry, and I choose laugh, I guess, because some of it's just really funny, man. All right, that is that. So that is the end of my turn. Round end turn. I have no more cards in my hand. It just is what it is. So we're going to go to the game flow. The next thing we're going to do is go to the event phase. The first thing that happens is this time track moves from 15 down to 14. I'm going to I have this die over here. I was like, where did the other die go? Great. Now, any intruders that would be in combat, if you are in the same room as an intruder, you are automatically considered to be in combat. Any intruders in combat will attack. Any intruders in a room that has a fire token. Now, I should talk about these. So there's a fire tokens and malfunction tokens. There are 8 of each. If you ever need to place a 9th of either, game over, the ship is destroyed. Which is fine, that's my goal, but you have to survive as well, so it's not that fine. It's half fine. Mostly terrible because you lose. So if there's any intruder in a place with a fire token, it takes 1 damage. And anytime an intruder takes damage, you then pull the top intruder attack card to see if that damage is enough to kill it. That will make sense a little bit later. We're going to resolve an event card, so I'm going to take this event card off the top and see what's going on. By the way, I love the art of the game. There's so much of the look of this game. It's amazing. So the first thing you would do with an event card is you would see if there are any intruders on the board that match these symbols. So that's a creeper symbol. That's an adult symbol. If there were, and they were not in combat, they would move along the corridor that matches the number off to the right of this card. So they would move along corridor 4. Corridor 4 sometimes can lead to the... what do they call that? What do they call that? Why am I totally blanking? The mechanic I would know. There's a mechanical shaft or something, a technical corridor. If there's a technical corridor, if they moved out to the technical corridor, they would essentially be taken off the ship. They would fully heal. We'll see if that happens during this game. Remove all intruders which are not in a room with any character from the board. Put their respective tokens into the intruder bag. So that would have been really helpful later. We got it now, but obviously we could have gotten something that was way, way worse. So that just has no effect on the game state. That event will go away. Now we're going to develop the intruder bag. The intruder bag is so we've did the intruder movement. There are no intruders. We did the event action. It had no effect on game state. And now we're going to pull one of the tokens out of this bag. Depending on what we pull, will have certain effects on the game. So I pulled an adult. What does that mean? Well, when you pull an adult token, we're going to perform a noise roll. So we turn this token to the bag immediately, and then we perform a noise roll. So this is going to be our first noise roll of the game. Booyah, I rolled a 3. I have to put noise here. Something is brewing in corridor 3. That's an excellent place for that noise roll. That's super cool. I don't want to go that way anyway. I know it's the operations room, and I have no real need to get there anytime soon, and hopefully ever. All right, so we go, that's the end of the event phase. We go back to the player phase. First thing I do is draw 5 cards. I'm going to draw the rest of my deck. What do we have? We have repairs. I could discard a malfunction marker in a room I am in. I have to play that card and one more card. We have another search card. We have a rest, search, scan all contamination cards in your hand. Remove all that are not effective, but if one's effective, we'll talk about that later. It's not great. Old friend, if you were in a working room without a computer, use this room action without paying its cost. That's nice. So I guess I have an old friend on board who's going to help me out, even in a true solo game. How exciting. Cool. So we're going to go to my actions. I'm going to be, there's no computer in the hatch control system. I don't know how it works. It just does. I'm going to use this card. It costs nothing but itself. It has a 0 there. And I'm going to go, indeed, we're going to unlock this as well. So both of my escape hatches are unlocked. That's great. Now, again, I don't really care about the engine rooms right now. It just is what it is. I'm going to move here by discarding 1 card. I'm going to discard the rest card. Again, it costs 1 because it's a basic action, and now I go here. I flip this over. Oh, we got fire, kids. And remember, this is my second action of this turn, of this round. I did it again, so I will have to take a damage. So this flips over. It is storage. Storage has 2 items. Nope, nope, nope. True solo game only has 1. So again, divide by 2, round up. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Rounded up is 1. Or something like that. At least that's what my teacher told me when I was a little youngin'. And now we got a little bit of a fire happening in the storage room. Well, that's not great. So that is the end of my round. I take a light wound. That's going to go here. Light wounds become other bigger light wounds, which become big wounds, which become badness, which become serious wounds. So we got to be careful about that. So we go to my next round. I am going to search. Right, so again, I take damage from fire at the end of each round, so I have 2 actions before I hit the end of another round. So I'm going to search, and then I'm going to move, and oh, I have to do this roll. I have to roll. Stop cheating. I rolled a 4. Well, that's not super awesome. That means I have to put a noise marker there, so it's looking like some careful movement may be in order. I wish I rolled a 1 or a 2. That would have been a wee bit better. Okay, well, we're gamble a little bit, I guess. So we're going to do a search. We're going to rotate that from 1 to 0. I'm going to get another red item. We get a... That only works in a room with a computer. No computer share. Red items, we have a smoke grenade used in the room you were in. All the characters in turns lose 1 action card. You move to a neighboring room and intruders don't attack you during the movement. That could be helpful. And the prototype weapon, the energy weapon prototype shotgun, you always deal at least 1 injury, except on a blank if you roll a 1, if you roll a hit or a non-hit. So let me talk about this. This die has 6 sides. If so, during an attack using a weapon or even a melee attack, I roll this die. If I roll that side, nothing happens. If I roll that side, I only do damage to a larva or a creeper. If I roll that side, I only do damage to a larva, a creeper, or an adult. If I roll this side, and actually there are 2 of these sides, by the way, so larva, creeper. So half of this die, only half the side is going to do damage to an adult. If I roll that side, I'm doing 1 damage to anything, and if I roll this side, I'm doing 2 damage to anything. Now, all this can be modified by your weapon or whatever, but breeders and the queen are super, super hard to damage. You're only going to hit 1/3 of a time unless your weapon modifies that. Now, this prototype says I always deal an injury. So this would basically mean I'm going to do injury even on the 2 creeper sides, which is really helpful. The smoke grenade could also be helpful, though, because it allows me to... I'd have to lose an action card in addition to the card to play this, so it would cost me 2 action cards, but I get to move without the intruder attacking me. They're both useful. I do think I want the shotgun, though, instead. So I'm going to take the shotgun... And again, that's 2 smoke grenades I have said goodbye to, which might not have been the smartest decision I've made today. But, you know, I have made that many decisions today, so the day is young. We're going to put this sucker over here. So I feel a little bit better about my ammo situation, but that could be just some hubris for sure. So that was my first action in my second round of the second turn. It makes sense, I swear. All right, we're now going to, I think, careful move here is the best way to go. So I'm going to discard 2 cards to do careful movement, and I want to start coming up this corridor. So I go here. We're going to reveal this. It's danger. So I wouldn't have had to roll anyway, so I wish I didn't do that. It has 3 items. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, rounded up is 2, and it's the nest. So no items anyway, and me being stuck in the nest is not great. So, if when you're in the nest, you can take an egg. If we could find the laboratory, having an egg might not be the worst idea, but I obviously don't know where that is. But we might have an early appearance of Her Highness. And what the danger thing means is, even though I guess again, I don't worry about danger. Had I not done careful movement, I would essentially have had to put a noise marker there. Since I did a careful movement, I can choose where the noise marker goes. I'm going to put it there. If all of these were full when I went in, I couldn't have done careful movement anyway. So essentially, since this was danger, I essentially wasted a card that I would actually very much prefer that was still in my hand, especially in light of that situation. So we're playing a little bit dangerous right now. But I don't know. Hopefully my when I improve the bag, I don't, hopefully it's not terrible. So that is the end of that turn. So we go to the event phase. This goes down here. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to have intruders attack. There are no intruders. Third thing, intruders take damage from fire. There are no intruders that are in a land with fire. There's no intruders anywhere. The next thing that's going to happen is we draw an event card. We would do intruder movement, regeneration. Each intruder on board heals 2 injuries. Again, there are no intruders. That's done. And now we progress the bag. Oh no, this could be really, really bad. Give me a larva. It's an adult. All right, what happens to the adult? We put this back in the bag, and we roll for noise. I rolled a 3. That's a problem. There's already noise there. Bam. All these markers go away, and now I have an encounter. When I have an encounter, I have to choose what I'm doing. I am definitely choosing cutting off the head. And now that is going to be my goal for today. So we try to destroy the ship. Who cares about the engine? Who cares about coordinates? Let's just destroy the ship and get the heck out of here. However, since I'm having an encounter, I have to figure out what am I encountering. Now, there's a chance I pull the blank and no harm, no foul. But I'm guessing it's most likely to be an adult or a larva. And what do we get? It's the blank. Woo! So I technically didn't have an encounter. I should have had an encounter, but I didn't have an encounter, so this actually is not out of the game yet. And when you pull the blank, I think you put a noise marker everywhere. That's weird. This doesn't happen very often, kids. Draw an intruder from the blank. If the player draws a blank taken... Oh, an encounter did still take place, according to this. If the player draws a blank taken, place a noise marker in each corridor in the room in which the encounter took place. So we had an encounter, but we actually don't see a thing, but we have to put a noise marker in every corridor. Okay, well, that could have been worse. So we got a little bit lucky there. Look at me getting lucky. Now the blank token does go back in. If it was an intruder, because the intruder is now out of the bag, we would add the corresponding figure, and then the token would actually come out and go back to the supply. It could be added back in by some game effects later. The blank does the blank have a, right, it doesn't matter. I don't think it has a surprise attack value on it because it doesn't even do an attack. Whew. He says light wounds because bad wounds. Greg, not sure if you said this or not. Do you also have Nemesis Lockdown? Have you tried it, or do you have it? What is it other than the location? I do not have it. I have not tried it. Everything I've read says they're very similar, except Nemesis Lockdown is basically this game, but it's on a space station as opposed to on a spaceship, and it adds some wrinkles, and there's debate whether the extra rules overhead makes it better or worse. Again, that base game, what I have, I pretty much have all the content of the original, except I don't have the medic character expansion, which is an absurdly expensive expansion on the secondary market now. But I do have Void Cedars and I have Aftermath. Those are all things I will probably explore on the channel in the upcoming months. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So we go back to the player phase. I'm going to shuffle my deck so I can draw 5 cards back. And let's see what we have. We have Search, Knowledge of the Ship, Search, Interruption, and Demolition. This would go there. All right. Well, I want to get the heck out of the nest. I'm tempted to take one of those eggs though, but I have no hands. Look, Ma, no hands. But I don't know if I'm doing enough combat to make it worth it. So if I took an egg and I found, and I don't know what the lab is. If I took an egg and I knew what the lab was, I could find out one of the weaknesses of the intruders. I did my second game of this ever. We got all intruder weaknesses exposed, and it made a huge difference in our ability to all survive that game. There was only one person who died, and which somebody else wanted him to die, and it was rather hilarious. But just the way it played out was super special. I think I do careful movement again. I'm really trying to avoid an encounter with my current setup, but careful movement one more time seems a little annoying. Nah. I mean, if I roll a 3, there are 60% of the die isn't terrible for me. But if I roll a 1 or a 2, again, the 10-sided die, there are 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, and then there's silence, and then there's danger. If you're slimed, the silence becomes a danger. I think I just risk it. So I'm gonna discard. Well, let me do knowledge of the ship. Look at any one unexplored room tile, then return it to face down without looking at the exploration token. So I know this is the operation room. I'm gonna see what this room is. This is the comms room. This is where I need to be to send the signal. Well, that's on the wrong side of the ship. Woof. So I can come back around that way, I think, is what I'm going to have to do. Okay. Well, now we know. Because again, I do have to send a signal, and it has to be explored for me to use the computer, even with my cards allow me to use computers. No, actually, do I have? No, I don't think that's a scientist. So I know that is now the comms room. That is going to be super important. All right, I'm going to use Demolition to move with my second action. Hopefully there's not a fire token here so I don't get another light wound. So I'm moving here. This flips. It is a malfunction, and we have surgery. Well, that's even better. So again, this is where I go to get rid of the larva if I have one. Right, because what was I thinking? This is operations? No, what the heck was this? This was that was the emergency room. So in the emergency room, what is the difference? I could dress all serious wounds or heal one of my dress wounds, but a surgery is where I can actually remove infected cards and the larva. But again, I can't do anything in that room right now because it has a malfunction token. So do I have a repair card? I do not. I do have to roll because I made some noise, and hopefully this doesn't go terribly. And a 3. Great. 3 corresponds to the technical corridor, so now we have some noise in the technical corridors. So everywhere you see that dot, when you roll the die, that is indeed something else that is now in play. So while I'm here, I probably want to repair that at some point. Oh, that thing came out. It said 2 on there. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Rounded up is 1. So I actually had it on the right location. I will do a search action. I don't have a repair card on me. You can still search. I just can't do surgery as long as there's a malfunction. And again, these are component limited. If I had to put a 9th malfunction thing on the board, the ship again destroys. And if I'm still on it, again, that is not how you win the game. So I'm going to play the search card. I have to pull from the green deck. Don't mind that. We have synthetic food. Draw 2 action cards from your deck. And we have 1 use only alcohol. Scan and remove 1 contamination card from your hand if it is infected, and then take a contamination card. So If it's not infected, it's not removed, then you're adding another one. However, you can use that fire to craft a flamethrower or a Molotov cocktail or an antidote. I really want something that gives me a taser. I'm actually going to keep the synthetic food because I'm going to try to get this repair action done. Is that worth it? I still like the synthetic food, I think, more. So I'd basically be discarding a card to draw 2, and I think there's nothing wrong with having more options. I do have to get back to the comms, so I have to send that signal at some point sooner rather than later, for sure. So yeah, if I send the signal, I can start to self-destruct, and I have these things unlocked. That puts me in a fairly good place. So I lost track of actions, right? I moved. That was 2, so that's the end of my first round. No, that was not bad. I did 3 actions so far, so my next thing will be the end of my next round again, which could matter only for if I find another room that's on fire. So I'm going to discard Interruption to use Synthetic Food to draw 2 action cards. So we get Piloting. If you're in a room with a computer, I can check the coordinates. If I'm in a room with a working cockpit, I can use this action without paying its cost. And then Old Friend. So I didn't get any repairs, so no repairs are happening. But I do think at least it's time for me to move. I don't want to check the coordinates. Or for the room with the computer, use this room action without paying its cost. Well, that's over there. There's going to be, I feel like, more rooms with computers and without computers at this point. So I'm going to use Old Friend to move here. We flip this over. Oh, I'm slimed! Damn it! What does slime do? Again, slime turns all silence into danger. The other problem with slime was that with the expansions, you get 2 more serious wounds that give you light wounds if you're slimed. I actually really love the flavor of that. I'm glad that slime got a little bit worse. That is a 3, so we'll have 2 things in here. It's the engine control room, so I can check the status of the engines. Again, all not that helpful in this game because I'm not trying to save the ship. But I do get a slime, so I put a slime marker on me there. If I can find some clothes or something, that's one way to get rid of it. Again, there's 2 items, so 3 rounded divided by 2, rounded up, so 2 items. I have the bad habit of putting the number I want next to the corresponding corridor. That is just something I assume will just stop happening with time and experience with this game. So we do have 2 items. I do have to roll. Again, silence or danger is the same thing for me right now. I rolled a 2 instead, so we're just going to put a noise token over here. I'll play this search. Let's get an item, and I'll hold on to 1 card in my hand just in case. So this goes from 2 down to 1. We have to go from the yellow deck. Do I get clothes? No. So we have duct tape. Discard the malfunction marker from the room you're in, or repair or break the engine of the room you're in, or use to add 1 heavy item to a heavy item in a character's hand, effectively carrying 2 heavy items in 1 hand. So this can be helpful. So if I wanted to pick up this egg, right, because here I can take egg from there when I was in the nest, I could have basically just duct taped it to my shotgun, which is hilarious. There's some really, really fun moments in this one. Or we have tools. Discard the malfunction marker from the room you're in, or open or close 1 door. I think the tool's is going to be more helpful. I only have 1 repair card. I think having the ability to repair something else could indeed be helpful, as much as I do love the flavor of the duct tape. I mean, I don't really love the flavor of duct tape. I don't think it tastes very good, to be clear, but you know what I'm saying. All right, checking out the chat. All right, nothing new since the lockdown question from Jester. Let's move on. So I'm going to hold on to 1 card in my hand. That is the end of my 3rd player phase. This moves down to a 12, and now we go to the rest of the event phase. So what do? I'm going to check to see intruders will attack. Intruders will take damage from fire. None of that matters. We're going to draw an event. Intruders move, and then malfunction. Place a malfunction marker in the expired room with the lowest room number. Now, this is super not clear by the card, but what that means is rooms have numbers. So 1, where are your number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So what you need to do is the lowest room number that does not have a malfunction, and that is a noise marker, Greg. That's a malfunction, so that will go there. Then shuffle this card back into the events deck. So we're not shuffling the discard pile back in. We're just shuffling this card and only this card back into the events deck. If you pull it too many times, indeed, again, we could cause a problem with our ship. I don't know. I'm scared. There's monsters looming large. It was a very lucky roll when I pulled that blank token when I had that encounter. So not too upset about that. All right. Now we have to increase the bag. What have I pulled so far? Oh, I was like, why? This is only a third round. Yeah, so we pulled an adult. We pulled the I think we pulled an adult twice. Yeah, I think we pulled 2 adults. That's a larva. Well, what happens when you pull a larva? The larva comes out of the game because that puppy has grown up into an adult. So we have another adult. So 3 larvas in here and 5 adults, a queen, and a creeper. 3 larvae and the blank. So blank, 3 larvae, creeper, 5 adults, and the queen. Think? I don't know. Is there one more than that? Blank, 5 adults. I don't know. Somewhere in there is the truth. There should be 12 tokens. So that's blank, 3 larvae is 4. Creeper is 5. Yeah, 5 adults is 10. The queen gets us to 11. I'm missing a token somewhere. What is it? It's going to drive me nuts. Stuff that drives me nuts for the win. Start with 4. Blank. 3 larvae. Oh, no, my bad. It's still 11 because, again, the 1 larva just turned into an adult. Okay, we're good. I'm good at math, guys. We're good. Now I'm going to draw up to 5. So I kept this card in my hand. Now you can drop other cards in your hand at the end of a turn. Not round, but literal Nemesis game turn. So the thing with contamination cards, when they're in your deck, they really jam you up in that you can't use them for anything, and you have to wait to the end of a turn, real turn, not how I would normally use turn, to actually get them out of your hand. All right. So I'm going to draw up to 5. So we have piloting still in our hand. I kept that in case I had an encounter with the larva. To be honest with you, we have a repair card, we have a rest card, and we have computer skills. I need to draw 1 more. Wouldn't mind a search. If I don't get a search, we won't be able to get that item. It's fine. I have to get over to the comms room. And the last card is a search. Fantastic. So for my first action of the first round of the 4th turn, we're lowering this to 0. We're drawing 2 yellows. Do I get some clothes? No. So it's fire, fully load ammo in a flamethrower, but I also can use this to make a flamethrower. I really am more interested in this because it's going to give me what I need to make a taser, and I already have the tools. I already have 1 tools. I think I want another one because I think making a taser could be helpful. Again, there's no limit to the number of items you have. When you're playing in a multiplayer game, you could use this handy dandy card holder. I really dig it. And you're supposed to keep items secret unless you're trying to work out a trade with someone in your space. I have not gotten any energy charges, so I have not been able to do the orbital maneuvering system. I'm probably not going to want that this game anyway. And I'm trying to cover the self-destruct sequence because that is going to become important. So let me move these quest items somewhere else. The evacuation key isn't really necessary either. So both of my quest items are kind of pointless the way this game has played out. And I'll take another tools. I don't think there's any restriction in having multiple of the same item. I don't think that is a thing that happens, but I'm going to see if I can find it out. As far as this rulebook goes, it's fine. Could be a lot better. Once requirements are filled. Inventory. There's no alternate items that can replace your inventory, and there doesn't seem to be any restriction to having 2 of the same type. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to now use this piloting because who cares about the coordinates? I want to destroy this puppy, and I'm going to move here. Now, one of the things that's nice in a co-op game is it gives you a little bit more, a little stealthy feel where you can benefit by moving together. Because if I moved into a room that has characters or intruders, I don't have to make the roll, right? So you can save a lot of cards with multiple players, but you also, the ship's so big, you're often splitting up anyway. So there's a give and a take there. So there's no one here except for, my dead comrade. So I am going to roll for noise. I rolled a 1. Again, I'm slime too, so silence is going to do me no favors. I rolled a 1. We're going to put that over here. So again, that hatch control system is very much blocked off. So that was my second action of my first round in the 4th turn. I'm not trying to be annoying. I'm just trying to, number 1, keep it straight in my head, and also 2, make sure I'm being clear. All right, so it's helpful. I have no more search cards. I don't. I'm tempted to do nah. All right, we're gonna move next door into here. Again, I'm trying to get to that comms room. So this is another level 2 room. The exploration token it's a malfunction. And this flips over. It's the canteen. Have a snack. 1 divided by 2, rounded up, is 1. Another malfunction marker. So this is our 3rd. So I can't really have a snack. Having a snack isn't that great in my experience. So we go here. What does the canteen do? So we go basic rooms. All right. Advanced rooms. Here we go. I can heal a light wound. Oh, that could be helpful. Additionally, I may choose to scan all contamination cards in my hand and remove all non-infected cards. At least one of those cards affected, then we get the larva. So I guess there's some benefits there, but I can't do that room action as long as that malfunction is there. I can repair it, however, if I'm going to try to get rid of that 1 light wound. But honestly, I'm not that worried about it. I think I'm just going to try to search there next turn. We'll see, but I do have to roll for noise. That is a 3, so we get a Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that's a bad roll. All right, noise marker. Woof. The tactical, so it was the only die that triggered an encounter for me. I still would have. It's an 80% chance. I still would have done this for sure. But now that means we have an encounter. So this comes out of the tactical corridor, and I have to figure out what I'm having an encounter with, and I'm gonna hope against hope that it's a larva or a creeper. Because woof, it's an adult. All right, the adult comes in. It's a warning 2, so I got lucky there. I have 2 cards in my hand, so there's no surprise attack. But yikes. And we're going to have our first adult of the game come out. So this token comes out of the bag. I'm going to shuffle it in with the rest of these adults to make sure the warning things are randomized. And we'll take this guy. Why not? Hello, Mr. Adult. How are you? Yeah, he's awesome. And that was a bad roll. that changes how I want to do things. Yikes. I mean, a taser would be nice. Do I attack him? Do I let him attack me? I don't know. Many choices. Woo. So I have options here. So I can attack him, but if I attack him, I have 4 ammo, so shooting him a couple times is reasonable. I don't want to use all my ammo on him though, but I think I might have to. But ultimately, when I attack him, I have to discard a card every time I do an attack. The second thing that happens is I might, or other things. I mean, I could pull something. He might retreat. That changes things. Or again, what I was trying to say, I lost my train of thought. Or I could try to just move. Now I can't do a careful movement, so I could do a basic move to move away, but he would take a swipe at me as I leave, which is why that smoke bomb could have been really helpful. It just would have cost me all the rest of my cards, and then I would have had to move. And then if I move into a room that has no characters or no intruders, I would indeed have to roll again. I would indeed have to roll for noise when I get to the next room. There's also the reality if I move here and there's adult movement and it says 2, then he's just following me, and I don't love that. Of course, if I move here and the adult movement says 3, he actually leaves the game. So there's a lot of things to consider. I think I try to. I think I move. The serious wounds can be quite serious, and I only have 4 bullets, and I just don't think it makes sense to me to use one when I have 2 cards left in my hand. And I guarantee he attacks me if I don't kill him in those first 2 shots, and I'm not feeling that lucky. The nice thing about the prototype shotgun is that, again, I do at least 1 injury 5 out of 6 times. And if I roll this, I would do 3 injuries, but I'm only doing that 1 out of 6 times. Yeah, I think I want to save my ammo. I'm still not feeling super strong. So I am going to discard a card. I'm going to discard repairs. Oh, and I could close a door there. That'd be nice. I'm going to discard repairs, and I'm going to move here. Now, before I move, he takes an attack. What does the intruder attack? Well, we take this card, and we see if it... Oh, if I attacked him and I did damage, he would have retreated. There's only 2 retreat cards in the deck, so that's not likely, but that's really gross. All right, so we look at the symbols. It does match an adult symbol. If this is only a larva or a creeper or a queen and a breeder, it wouldn't have mattered, but it is an adult. He's making me suffer 2 light wounds, and I get a contamination card. So, how does that work? Well, I already have 1 light wound. That becomes a second. That becomes a serious wound. So that goes away. Serious wound added to my situation. And the cost of all of my item actions is increased by 1. So I'm going to put this serious wound somewhere over here. Just, I am out of space. I'm in space, I guess. Not out of space. I'm in space, silly. All right, this goes here. So that's 1 serious wound. I also suffer my first contamination card, so this is going to get added to my deck here. We'll talk about those as we go. But the rest of my movement is successful, so I will move here. We flip this. It lets me put a door behind me, which saves me the need to put in computer skills. So I dig that. This is going to flip over. We have a computer, a comms room, and they're going to have 1 item. Uno. So you know what I haven't found yet is either of the evacuation rooms, and that makes me a little nervous. It has 1 item because this is a 2. That will go away. Now I roll for noise. Silence. Silence is danger because I'm slimed. So that was a crappy roll. Woof. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's a 3-4. So that's a really bad roll for me. And woof. I'm going to hold on to this 1 card because it looks like I'm going to have another encounter sooner rather than later. And now we're going to go to the event phase. This goes down from 12 to 11. Intruders would attack if they are engaged. He's not engaged with me, so we pull the event. Intruder movement. Adults do move, and they move toward 1. So he's moving over here. Bye, dude. If he moved here, he would have just destroyed this door, and I would not have been able to close that door again for the rest of the game. But he did not move there, but it gave me a buffer, so I like it. Damaging fire. Place a malfunction marker in each room with a fire token. Fortunately, there's only 1 of those. So that's our 4th malfunction token on the bag. Place a fire marker in each room neighboring a room with a fire. Fire does not spread through closed doors or technical corridors. So this is getting scary. So we have a fire that goes to the nest. That's super interesting. A fire that gets to the hatch control room, and a fire that gets here. So again, big fire in the side of the ship. That's looking a little sketch. And now this is going to go away. Woof. Now the interesting thing about fire damage, the fire damage will start to kill an egg, is I think how that works. I've never actually seen a fire in the nest before, but I'm pretty sure that them's the rules. Flow of the game. Fire damage, more on fire, page 17. During each event phase, more on shooter injuries, page stage 18. Intruder injuries. I think they take 1. God, this rule book. Is there a section on the nest, maybe? Yeah, this rulebook could be a lot better. It's just a little bit all over the place. Nest. There's a fire marker in a room containing uncarried eggs. Destroy one uncarried egg during the fire damage step of the event phase. I knew I read it somewhere. It's just finding it in the right place. It's like information's in multiple places. It's almost like a Zed's problem where you have to figure out what the heck room, what thing you're looking at when. So the event was carried out. That was a pretty gross event. We're down to literally 4 malfunction markers and 4 fire markers. So we're running out of time before the ship is going to be destroyed in a way that's not great for us. I'm going to now. Oh, please don't be an intruder. I gotta stop. I keep pulling adults, and there are other things in here that I would much prefer. So let's see how this goes. It is an adult. I have to roll for the noise. So, and I rolled a 4, which means that all this crap goes away, and we have another encounter. Woof! This has gone super sideways, super quick. So now we got to figure out what I'm encountering. I would not mind a blade token. Yeah, these rolls have been a combination of rolls or whatever. It's a larva. Whoo! That's good. That's good. All right, so the larva comes in, has a warning level of 1. I have 1 card in my hand, so no surprise attack, which is super nice. And now this cute little fella is going to go into my place. The larva token comes out of the bag. 2 larva tokens left. That was a good pull. Woo! David Coleman says hello, just made it, and then Coleman says, "What's the rules query?" Yes, the rulebook has a bad layout. Yeah, I know. It's all the information is there, but it's like it's just not. I don't know. It's really laid out very funky. But again, it's one of those games like it's like Maze Knight. The rulebook, all the information is there. I actually like the Maze Knight rulebook, but that comes from experience of knowing where to look for what I want to find. And now I never need to look at it again. So maybe I'm just romanticizing how good it is in my head now that time has passed. All right, we go back to the player phase. I'm drawing out the 4 more cards. Knowledge of the ship, demolition, old friend, and search. We have to kill this larva because if the larva attacks me, that's un problemo because then he goes on my chest and I take a contamination card. None of that is fun. Now I could just do a melee attack against him, but that guarantees I take another contamination card. And if the contamination card is infected, that's going to be a big problem. So I'm not that excited about that. I'm going to use my starter weapon, this goofy little shotgun, and I'm going to discard a card. I'm going to discard the demolition, and I'm going to roll this die. I just need 5 out of 6 chance of killing this thing, and I... Oh my gosh, I'm so good at games. Oh, that was gross. All right, I don't want to use all my weapons, but I guess this is what life is bringing me to. So I'm going to use another ammo. That was so bad, dude. I'm going to discard old friend, and we're going to try this again. So the good thing, if I did a melee attack, again, I would have 2 contamination cards. There we go. That's a damage, and this dude is just dead. Now, only larva and eggs, so you can kill an egg the same way. Larva and eggs don't leave intruder carcasses, but if it was a creeper, an adult, whatever, then the intruder carcass comes in. I hate the art on these things. I think it's really goofy. It's really hard to make out what they're going for here. I also don't love the art on the marine carcasses either. I think they could have done a better job on that art. Most of the art I really like though. So that's that. We're now going to go to we have to do the thing in the comms room. Computer skills. So when room with the computer, I can use that room action without paying its cost. So instead of discarding 2 cards to do that action, I'm just going to discard this card, which has 0 on it, and I'm indeed going to do that computer action, and that means I've sent the signal. So I get another one of these things on here to say I've sent the signal. So let's review. I've sent the signal. I have the item. It's going to cost me 2 things to use now, unless I dress that. But I have the item to start the self-destruct sequence, which is great. The one thing I don't have is I don't know where the heck the evacuation things are. So that's not great. I have a dude over there who is super awesome. I just need to find out where I can evacuate from. I can't move through the tactical corridors. And I probably don't need to hold onto a card this turn. It's going to be unlikely I get attacked. So that's fine. So I think I search and do knowledge of the ship. And I can look to see what that is since that dude is on it. But what's realistic? What's realistic for me to get to? What's close? I mean, that's not even close. I mean, that with that guy there, it's just going to be a super big mistake. Maybe this is going to be the harder one to get to because these ones I could just like do a loop if I need to. Or if this is the evacuation, then I know I just blitz right for it. So let me do a search action. I'm going to get rid of the only item that was there. Look in the yellow deck. Close. I can get rid of slime that way. Nothing to make a taser. But I do have that, which I can make a Molotov cocktail with if I have a fire symbol. But the close and close. I think I'll take some clothes, so don't have to worry about that. But I can. It's an item, so it's going to cost me 2 cards. But I do think I'm going to want to get rid of the slime marker because we saw how silence can lead to big problems out of nowhere. But then we're going to discard knowledge of the ship, and then we're going to look at what this is. It is the armory. So again, not the evacuation room that I need. Indeed. So that will go over there. Think about the noise trail. It's gonna be bad, dude. That's a lot of noise. All right. Well, that's it. We have enemies attack. There is no enemy attacking happening. Well, this goes down here. So that was round 5. Yeah, it makes sense. So that was round 5. 1, 2. Yeah, that was 5. So we're just going to be going to 6. Once it passes, that's when the hibernatorium becomes open. But we don't care about the hibernatorium. We're trying to destroy the ship. So intruders attack. Intruders take fire damage. Fire kills one of the eggs in the nest. That's going to piss the queen off. Not sure that's a good idea. So that's done. And now we draw our encounter card. The encounter card comes off. Adults do not move. Only creepers, breeders, and the queen moves. Hunt. Well, they move this way. Move every adult non-combat to a neighboring room with the character if possible. So it's not possible for him to move into a neighboring room with the character, so he's just going to chill right there. Yeah, there are multiple rooms to choose from, the lowest numbered room, but again, it doesn't matter. There are no neighboring rooms with characters. If he was here, he would try to move there and again, just destroy that door. We now are going to develop the bag. Want to get the slime off me. It's blank. What happens when we do the blank? I forget. Where's my help card? Which I took forever to find these. They were in the expansion. I was like, oh my God. I was like, why is this not a help card for this? And oh, there was. Excellent. Return this token to the bag. Add 1 adult intruder. So this gets put in the bag. So the larva becomes an adult. The blank makes you add an adult. And again, I shuffle those up. So it is not going to necessarily be the one I took out, which had the warning of a 2. We go back to the player phase, drawing 5 cards. Bam! Interruption. Again, useful just to make other things happen. If I could dress a wound, I could dress the hand. Is that more important? That might be more important. Because I'm gonna want to use a lot of items here. And I think I have to open that door. Because I don't want to go around. Woof. Alright, I think I use the clothes to just dress my hand. Because I think it will save me a lot of cards in the long run. So piloting, search, rest. All right, did not pull my contamination card. I'm going to discard one of these searches and piloting or interruption. They're both pretty useless. To use the clothes, I discard the clothes and I'm going to actually use it to dress a serious wound. So I just flip this face down. And now I don't have to worry about those 2 cards because again, there's a lot of items I'm going to want to use. Guns are not items, I don't think. So I don't know how that works. Wait, guns? Yeah, these guns can't be items. Are they items? No. No, because they don't have an action cost on them. That would make sense because it's a basic action. What are the missions? Destroy the ship, survive, and dress hand. Yeah, thanks, David. David has a lot more experience in this game with me. He was very excited when I got it. At least that was the impression I got. Yeah, so I need to destroy the ship, send the signal, which I just did. So I had to find the comms room. So I have everything I need. It's just a matter of finding an evacuation pod so I can get the heck out of here. And I know that there's not. This is not evacuation, so I think I go down the center. All right, so I'm going to. Woof. I don't want to necessarily use the tools for that, but I think I have to. I'm going to discard piloting. And discard tools to open this door. When you open it, this comes off the board. Woof. Yeah, I don't love. Do not love getting closer to. I can move. Chance of encounter is still pretty high. I could chill where I am, kind of see what the predator does, or the alien. I'm like mixing all the movies in my head right now. Careful movement if it moves into me is gross. I don't think that's a great idea. Give myself a 50% chance of getting an encounter here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna move. I'm gonna discard this card. I'm gonna move here. I roll. Don't be silenced, please. It's a 4. 4's not great. It's definitely not the right direction. I was like, oh, 4 is the worst. Well, 4 or silence or danger. 60% of the die would have been better. 1, 2, or 3 would have been way better. If I move here, I have to roll for again. I could have an encounter right before and I'll have no cards left. I think I have to chill now and hope that the adult doesn't move to where I am. And honestly, he moves to where I am. That might be a blessing because if that's an evacuation room, that's even better. That's even better. All right, I'm gonna chill. So, guns are items, hand slots. Yeah, I played it hundreds of times. That fire is very dangerous. Fire is dangerous. My malfunctions aren't great. So, we'll see. I mean, I have what I need to succeed. I have the self-destruct key, and I've sent the signal. So I just need to find an escape. So, we destroy another egg from here. We're going to the event phase. Did I move this down yet? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is number 6. So this goes there. This egg goes away. We're pulling the event. The adults are not moving, so that adult stays right there. Egg protection. Resolve an encounter for each character who is in the nest who is carrying an intruder egg. That is not me. We're going to develop the bag. We'll see what we have. It is the queen. I don't think that's that bad. It looks bad, but it's not great. Not that awful. So return this token to the bag. If there was a character in the nest room, place the queen miniature and resolve an encounter. But then I wouldn't return this to the bag, right? That would be weird. If there are no characters in the nest, add 1 egg token to the intruder egg board. So they might be burning up, but the queen is going to try to lay more, and that's all we need to worry about. So that, again, was very nice. We go back to the player phase. I'm drawing up to 5 cards. We have our contamination card, kids. That's interesting. We have an old friend. We have repairs, and we have computer skills. I think my best path right here is to come and just go around in that loop. Let me think about this. There are 2 number 1 rooms here and here, and there are 3 here. 2 of those 5 rooms are evacuations. So I have a really good shot that one of these two is evacuation, and going on that corridor is just dangerous because, you know, there's a freaking monstrous being there. So I'm going to do, it's going to be a little card intensive, but I think this makes the most sense. I'm going to do a careful move into the hibernatorium. So 1 and 2, and I move here. Again, there's no more exploration tokens, so there's no more randomness there. I'm just going to put this over here. I'm going to then, yeah, it's going to be a very short turn for me, and I mean the game turn. I'm going to discard Old Friend to move here. It's a malfunction, so that's the 5th malfunction. It's the shower room. That's one way to get rid of slime. It's a 4, but again, there's a malfunction there, so I can't. You take a shower anyway, and it's going to have 2 items in it. So normally in a shower room, let me go to the room things. In the shower room, if you have a slide marker, discard it. Additionally, you may choose to scan contamination cards, so that would have been interesting, but instead I'll just take the 2 items that are there. And I have to roll and hope I don't roll silence or danger. No silence or danger. Oh, I rolled danger. Oh. It's going well. So, woof. Don't roll silence or danger. Bam! That's another number 2 room, isn't it? Woof. Yeah, probably want to go this way and go around because that's 1-1. I'm basically going all in and assuming one of those is an evacuation. But I'm about to have another encounter, which is awesome. I'm going to chill there. I'm not even going to use this search. I'm going to chill there, and I'm going to, at the end of the turn, drop that contamination card because it's just clogging my deck. I will hold on to this search card. We're going to go here. Hibernatorium is open. Intruder's going to chill. Fire's going to kill an egg in the nest. We draw a card. We draw an event. It is adults are going to move. They're moving along too, so he's getting further away from me. Place a malfunction marker in the lowest explored room with the lowest number of numbers. So we have another malfunction. It's the 6th one. That means we put a malfunction on room number 2, which is, of course, the room I'm going to, and that will go there. This gets shuffled back into the deck. The ship's falling apart. I want to destroy it anyway, so, you know, just hopefully I can get myself off the ship before that officially happens. Woo! Try to find ammo. Yeah, you know. I'm trying to find a taser would be good with me. So anything that has fire, I could craft a taser, and that could really help me make sure I get out when I want to get out. All right, we have to now evolve the bag, as they say. Evolving the bag, and we get the queen again. Look at that. She's again, the bag got a little bit lighter over the course, but yeah, so that's 2 in a row with the queen. So kind of a lucky pulls. We just add 1 egg there. I'm drawing up to 5 cards. Search and demolition. Search in my hand. I get knowledge of the ship. I get demolition. This knowledge of the ship is super nice. That's actually really nice. And then we get old friend, and we get computer skills. That's there. So, knowledge of the ship I'm going to use, and I'm going to look to see if this is an evacuation pod. It is not! It's the fire control system. Woof. Well, if I thought this, if I was very worried about fire, that would be interesting. I'm worried about fire, but I'm getting worried about malfunctions. So I think that makes going there a mistake. Pretty interestingly. I'm going to search. So I guess I'm going down this corridor, which is fine because the adult has kind of gone away. So I'm searching for ammo, as my friend David over here says I should do. So I'm going to look through the red deck. It's a gray room, so I'm allowed to do whatever I want. There were 2 items here. There's now 1. Again, you can search even if there's a malfunction marker. Oh, I can make my taser. So it's an energy charge. It's a grenade. Yeah, I like the fact I can make a taser. I'm absolutely taking that. I'm going to use demolition. I'm going to discard tools and the energy charge to craft a taser. What does the taser do for me? Well, I can spend a card to choose an intruder in my room. It suffers 1 injury and retreats, or one chosen character in the room you're in must discard all their cards. So I think that'll be super helpful. And then I think no, I don't think I careful move. This also has a malfunction there, so going there probably is a mistake. I'm going to discard this card to move here. I'm not careful moving. We flip this over. Malfunction marker here too. It is an evacuation pod A. It just happened to be next to it. That's super fun and thematic, but another malfunction marker. So we're down to 1. Woof. And I have my repair action is still on my deck, so that's good. 1 item. We're going to roll anything but a 3, please. Oh my gosh, dude. Uh-oh. Well, that's about how things go. 2 horrendous rolls in a row. Who's surprised? I'm going to pull from the bag. We're probably getting the adult. If we get the queen, I'm going to be very sad. Oh, and then I can't use the, I mean, there's so many things about that draw that are so terrible. The fact that it's malfunctioning, the fact that I rolled a 3, we get this encounter a little prematurely. Oh, it's blank again! Whoa, that's okay. But that means that all that stuff now has a thing. Interesting. I still haven't even started the self-destruct sequence. I'm going to hold on to computer skills. That's great. So that, again, technical quarters attached, so that gets noise. I pulled the blank twice at very key points in this game. All right, I'm holding on to that 1 card. So we get to the event phase. The intruders attack if they're engaged. Fire damage to the nest. That comes off. We are going to pull an event card. Flammable compounds. Place the adults don't move. Place a fire token in the hibernatorium. If it's already on fire, it would spread. It's not already a fire. Now it is. This comes out of the game. We are pulling. Well, it comes into the discard pile, and then we are. I'm like, now we're developing the bag. Oof. Okay. See if I have enough cards to do what I want to do. It's blank again, so we add an adult. Wow, I pulled the queen back to back, the blank back to back. I mean, I assure you, I'm flipping these around pretty good in here. So that's just some good luck. Or bad luck. I actually am going to need to trigger an encounter. So did I move that is a question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7, and the thing shuffled back in twice. Nope, there's only 6. There's only 6 up there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2. So that's down to round 7. Woo! Phew. Maybe run through those locations, says David Coleman. David Coleman says phew, and then yep, this is Nemesis horrendous rolls. They're Hilarious. All right, we go back to the player phase. I still have this one contamination card. I'm just gonna, at this point, hope it's not infected. And if it's infected, we're probably dead, but we can get lucky. Did I get the repair? I did not get the repair card. Uh-oh. I have a repair card, right? Yeah, I do have a repair card. I was just making sure. If I don't know these decks all that well yet. I don't think it makes sense to. I mean, I could scan it. I can't repair. So that's super interesting. All right, I'm going to. If you're with a computer, there is no computer in the evacuation section. I guess I can search. Yeah, I'll search. This goes down to 0. I'll get some ammo-y stuff. Energy charge. Lets me fully load ammo in 1 energy or a grenade. That me having to move doesn't make any sense. So this will go away. The energy charge would have been the thing that would allow me to open up the orbital maneuvering system. But again, not that helpful in this game with this goal. So that was my first action. I'm going to. Yeah, I'm not going to even bother scanning this. We'll wait to the end of the game. It is what it is. There's no upside. At this point, I'm not going to have that many more. If it's I guess if it's infected, let me do the rest of my actions and we'll see. I'm going to spend this interruption to use the self-destruct key. Oh, I have to use that in the room with the computer. Oh, that was idiotic. I haven't been in the room with the computer with a minute. Oops. Oops. That was dumb. That, my friend, was dumb. I am not in a room with a computer, and I don't know where. I haven't even seen the generator. I know the generator's not here. So that's the armory. I know the generator's not here. Again, I can't look at the exploration tokens. That's the fire control system. I know the generator's not here. That's the emergency room. I know it's not here because it's a level 2 room. So I know the generator's there, or there, or there. Or I just need a room with a computer. So the rooms I can't account for, I just don't know which has computers or not. The cabins probably, nope, those are level 2 rooms. There's the other evacuation rooms, doesn't have a computer. The laboratory 100% has a computer. I have not seen that yet. The generator is where I want to be. So I'm pretty good odds to find a computer here. That's super interesting though. I think I careful move and then chill over there. I can only do the self-destruct key though if I'm not in combat. But moving out of there is really gross. That was dumb. I messed up. I will hold on to my taser for sure. So I think I'm going to that taser. I'm gonna burn that taser up big time. I could fully load an energy weapon though, so that's not terrible. And that the prototype shotgun is better than my actual shotgun, so that's helpful. So I'm gonna discard 2. I'm gonna move here. This says like, oh, I put a door behind me. Oh, that's what a freaking disgusting card that is. This flips. It is the generator. Excellent. So I put a door behind me. It has 3 items. 3 items becomes 2 in a true solo game. And I'm going to choose to put a noise marker here. Again, a little careful movement, but I'm at least in the room with the generator. And self-destruct key, room with the computer, it just would cost me 1 instead of 2. So I should have started that earlier if I was thinking, but I haven't been in the room with the computer probably since the comms room, and that might have been a little ambitious considering it would have only given me 6 rounds. I didn't even know where an evacuation pod was. So that's the end of the turn. I'm going to drop that contamination card, and then we go to the event phase, so we get down to 6. Repair in every deck, but some versions better. Yep, does fire control have a computer? You have time. Fire control does not. It does have a computer, but that's pretty far. You have time. Edgar says, I never played this game. It looks hard to learn. It's not the worst. It's actually a little more accessible than I expected it to be. It flows easier in play, but there are some fiddly rules. Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you, David. All right. So, Intruder takes damage. Fire room. This goes away. So there's only 2 eggs left. Once the last egg goes away, you just put a destroyed marker on there, and the nest is considered destroyed, which can be important for some objectives. Event card. Adults do move. They move toward 3. That means he goes into the technical corridor. He just comes out of the game. Since he left the game, we put another adult back in the bag. Place a noise marker on every corridor connected to a room containing a character with a slime marker, except corridors that already have noise markers. So again, I have a slime marker. They can smell me because slime smells delicious and tasty to them, clearly, and that goes away. But they already have noise markers, so again, does not trigger an encounter. But the fact that there is now a door behind me is so freaking tilting. The reality though is this might be the other evacuation room, because one of those is the evacuation room, and one of those is the laboratory. I have absolutely 100% certain about that. We're going to develop the bag, and we'll see what kind of encounter we get. And I might try to kill one of these suckers with my recharge energy charge. It is an adult. It does do an immediate attack because I only have 1 card left in my hand, and it has a warning level of 2. So that sucked. So this adult comes back. He's like, I found you. Nope, I lied. I'm developing the bag. So I got ahead of myself. It happens. I'm putting this back in the bag. Speaking of fiddly rules, now I roll for the noise because that's what happens when you pull an adult when you're developing the bag. I'm probably getting an encounter now anyway. I do get an encounter because I hit the 2. Both of these go away. And now I have to pull again to see what enemy I pull. Remember last time I pulled the blank. And now this time we pull the larva. Awesome. Larva has a warning of 1. I don't take an attack because I have that. So again, sorry about that. Got a little ahead of myself. And this cute little guy goes right there. We go to the event phase. So getting fairly lucky in a lot of ways. So we get repairs. We get piloting. 2 more cards. Computer skills and search. Searcharoo, kids. Searcharoo. All right. We are going to attack this larva with my prototype gun. I'm going to discard. That door is. I don't have knowledge of the ship. I can open that door. It's fine. I have to repair it. I still think that makes no sense. So I'm going to attack it. I'm getting rid of piloting. I spent an ammo. 5 out of 6 chance. We got the creeper symbol. That's enough to kill the larva. He just goes away. No intruder carcass needed. I'm going to discard a card and use a self-destruct key. I'm going to discard the interruption. So instead of having to spend the 2 for the generator, I'm just going to spend the 1 for the self-destruct key. We initiate the self-destruct sequence. That's cool. I don't think it makes sense to even bother with the search. I need the repair cards. Why would I bother searching right now? I'm going to get rid of computer skills. open or close one door in a corridor connected to where I am. So I'm going to open this door, and then I think I chill with 2 cards in my hand. The nice thing about that encounter is I cleared off those things. But woof. Ideally, yeah, I think that's a pretty good situation for me. So I'm going to chill. We go down to this. The turn marker goes down to 5. I'm going to do a damage to the nest. There's only 1 egg left. I'm going to draw an event card. There's nothing on board to move. Coolant leak. If there's a malfunction marker in the generator room, there is not. Start the self-destruct countdown. Remove this event from the game and reshuffle the events, including the discard pile. So I have to reach all of these suckers. So 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. That makes sense. These all get shuffled up. So if the self-destruct sequence was activated and you didn't want it activated, this is when you would need to go back and you would need to find the generator and you need to stop the ship from getting destroyed. I think once it gets to the yellow, it's irreversible, or maybe it's only reversible with the key. I guess you can stop it. I guess it's reversible. Wow. Yeah, once it gets to the yellow, it cannot be. So you have like 3 rounds to reverse it. But I don't want to reverse it. I want the ship to get destroyed. The thing is, if I get out of an escape pod, at the end of the game, this automatically goes there, so the ship will be destroyed at that point. Whoo! All right, we have to do the bag thing. It's the queen. She adds an egg. She's really, really doesn't want that thing to be destroyed. Fantastic. We go back to the player phase. I get old friend, I get contamination, and I get knowledge of the ship. Okay. I'm going to move. Old friend could be helpful. I'm going to use knowledge of the ship because I don't really care where things are anymore. And to move here, I'm going to do a roll, anything but a 3. I rolled a 1. And we get a noise marker in the 1. I have to repair this room to use it. So I'm going to discard this repair card and the search card because I'm not trying to search anymore. And we're going to repair the ship. So again, repair, discard a malfunction marker from a room that you were in. Now I can use the room action, but that's going to cost me. I could just discard this card, but that's a problem because I'm going to have to roll, and I'm almost guaranteed 75% of the time. Well, actually, it'd be 70% of 60% of the time I'm going to hit an encounter. I have the taser, so I'm set up well to do this next turn. So I'm just going to absolutely chill. Oh, by the way, I started the self-destruct last turn. So did I do last turn? So this would have gone down when that went down. And should I move that down too? Nope. I did that right. Yeah, I did that right. Did I do this last turn or this turn? I can't remember. I think I did it this turn. Yeah, and I did it with knowledge of the ship. Sorry about that. I'm in my head, so that's fine. At the end of this turn, I'm going to drop that card just to get it out of my hand. Almost guaranteed to have an encounter, but that's fine. I don't mind an encounter right now. End of the round, this goes here, this goes here. Nothing on board to be a problem. Exclusion. Each character, a larva on their character dies. Every character draws 4 cards from their deck and scans. So 1, 2, 3. And 4. I did pull my contamination card. Woof. If they have at least 1 affected card, put a larva on their character board, then discard drawn cards. So we're gonna get the scanner for the first time this game. Where did I put it? I put it over here, and we're gonna see if it says infected. So booyah! I am not infected. I'm close. I'm infected, but not infected. I'm isjurgid and igorhafted, but definitely not affected. So if those don't, there's like 8-letter words, 7-letter words. 8-letter words. I was right the first time. And they all have like some combination. They could look like infected, but you really need to read. There's 5 of them on every card. You have to really read closely. If any one of them says infected, you are infected. And getting a larva on me would be super gross. But again, we don't have to worry about that. So eclosion is done. That goes away. We have to develop the bag. What do we get? Booyah, it's an adult. I put this back in. I have to roll. It's a 2. It causes an encounter. These go away. This goes away too, because I'm connected to a technical corridor. And now I'm going to pull from the bag and see what I'm engaged with. It's an adult. Adult has an attack of a 2, so I do get a surprise attack on me, unfortunately. This comes out of the game. An adult comes back. I predicted this earlier. His attack on me is going to be as follows. Well, this is not an adult attack, so this is only attack for a creeper, so I do not get attacked. That's super, super nice. But now I'm in a room with a big, bad, ugly that I need to take down later. Woo! All right, some chat, super chat from Joey. Thank you, sir. David Coleman says, I really enjoy painting the minis for this game. Eric, I see things I've gone to hell since I stepped away. David Coleman says, ship is just 2 malfunctions from hull breach. She's trying to cook fried eggs. Joey, hey, Greg. Hi, all. So much for catching this playthrough. No break from work. I'll keep this running in the background and watch this evening. Awesome. And David Coleman says, my friends love the scanner. Joey says, I heard you mention another video that you got dinged by YouTube's algorithm as people view and leave shortly after. Whoops, I've been screwing you for months. It's all good, dude. Yeah, it's weird because they're like, oh, people aren't interested. I think if you go back, I don't know how that factors in, because I know I watch videos for like 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time when I'm watching the longer playthroughs, and like that's how I, process stuff. So yeah, it's a thing, dude. All right, what am I doing? I'm gonna hopefully get the heck off the ship this turn. So I'm gonna draw 4 more cards, and I mean, part of me wants to try to kill this dude, but I don't think I'm that lucky, and it's a little risky. How many cards do I need to get into that escape hatch? I just need 2. So I could, in theory, take 3 pot shots at this dude. No, I could take 2 pots at him. It'd be so much more satisfying to kill him. Oh, no, then I need a taser. I can literally take 1 shot at him. Oh, I'm in a room without a computer, so I can use that without paying the cost. So I only need this 1 card. Let me try. I'll try to take some shots at him because it'll be fun. So I'm gonna play interruption. I'm gonna use this ammo, and I'm shooting at this big ugly in front of me. I always hit except on a blank. If I roll the targets, I do 2 damage instead of 1, and I'm creating a bit of an earth. Whoa, that was crazy. I couldn't do that again if I tried. I created a bit of an earthquake over here in this tray. Let me get these back where you belong. Otherwise, I'll be very confused later. I do 1 damage to an adult. So you put that, I'll use a big die for that. So 1 damage to the adult, and then whenever time you do damage, you pull up from the intruder attack. I need 6 damage to actually kill this guy. I ignore everything else on there. I can discard a card. I can do this even in the middle of a combat. I can discard a card to discard the energy charge, fully load 1 energy weapon, so I can fully load my prototype shotgun. And now I'm going to discard knowledge of the ship to do another die roll against this clown. Oh, 2 damage. I deal 1 additional injury. So 2 damage becomes 3. So he's up to 4. I look at the intruder attack. I only needed 3 to kill him. He is dead. That's right. The pilot is blowing the ship up, but she wanted the personal satisfaction of smashing that dude to smithereens herself. And now she's going to use the old friend. I'm in a working room without a computer. I'm going to use this room cost without paying its cost. I'm going to use this room action. So we're going to get into the escape pod. Now, before I get in, I do have to roll for noise. I rolled a 4. We put a token here. which goes into technical corridors, and now I can decide to hang around or immediately skedaddle. I am definitely getting the heck out of here, off to Earth, and now we go to the end of the game. So, what happens immediately at the end of the game, this goes here, ship is absolutely destroyed, but again, I'm on my little escape pod, so that's fine with me. And then we would go through my deck, we would look at all my contamination cards, we would see if any said infected. We already know that my one contamination card does not say infected because of the event. If it did say infected, however, or if I had a larva on my chest, at that point I would shuffle my deck, I would peel off 4 cards, and if I pulled any contamination cards, whether or not they said infected, it doesn't matter at that point, because if I had multiple contamination cards, there's a chance that one says infected and 2 don't. If I pull any contamination cards, whether it says infected or not, I would indeed lose. So in that case, with one contamination, if that contamination card said infected, I would be able to pull those 4 off. I would have survived. The infection never took. And that's, I lost when I sabotaged my friends and made us go to Mars. I had 3 contamination cards on my deck, or 4. I think I had 4 contamination cards on my deck, and indeed, the one was infected, and I lost in the post game. So, but it was really fun, making the ship go to Mars. And they were in the hibernatorium, and just before they got in, I changed the coordinates, because once they started hibernating, I would not have been able to do that. That's like a rule in the game. So I changed the coordinates on them, and really, they were super happy with me, which was great. This game's really good, man. That was like the best solo experience I've had with this game. I just thought it was pretty interesting. The last time I've only played this true solo a couple of times. The one time, again, I literally didn't see an enemy until the very end. I did a lot of careful movement, and all I needed to do was like grab the blue marine. I think it was like some of these solo objectives I find a bit weak. Yeah, place the blue character in the surgery room. No, I had a finish in an escape pod with an intruder egg, and that was super easy. That was super easy. I mean, at least 2 intruder weaknesses have to be discovered. I could see that being tough, because in that case, you need to find a laboratory. You need to get 2 different things to the intruder board. You need to explore. These intruder weaknesses are really cool, like vulnerability to fire. When an intruder suffers an injury to fire, suffers an additional. I don't know how that affects the nest. The amount of injuries needed to kill any intruders increased by 1. That could be huge. Vulnerability to energy. Any energy weapon attack that deals at least 1 injury deals an additional. So that could have been super, super cool. So yeah, the weaknesses are great. There's a lot of like nuance. I think that it's interesting to me in like any good like narrative heavy game, like Dawn of the Zeds does this. There's like so many components that not every game, you're gonna only see like a percentage of what the game does every time you play, and it just makes every game feel a little bit different in a way that I think is super, super cool. But yeah, the fact that we didn't care. I mean, the coordinates. Our ship is headed to deep. No, we're headed to Venus. That's right. Our ship's headed to Venus. Well, the ship was headed to Venus, and then we did blow that sucker up. So, um, congrats on the victory, says David, you dirty dog. Sadness's question, is he dead? So if here, pits up, Brian. Oh no, I missed the whole thing. I'll have to rewatch. Damn, YouTube not giving me notifications. Is he the scout? I should have been the scout. I messed that up, man. That's on me. David Coleman, semi-co-op with 3 or 4 is a sweet spot. The drama players make is intense fun. Yeah, I played with 4, I played with 3, I played with 5. So not in that order either, so I have no idea why I did it that way. But yeah, I've played with I think I played 3 semi co-op, and I played with all the different player accounts, and every game was super, super cool. B Downing, I joined too late to catch the potential difficulty setting. It's an overall fun gaming experience. Too late. Yeah, I think if you have a group of friends that you'll play, if this was just for solo, at the price point for what it is, it's a soft recommend. If you have a group of friends that you can see digging into with this game, I very much recommend it pretty hard. It's a very cool game. Like if your group like likes Unfathomable, I mean, if you don't like semi co-op experiences and don't like the intrigue of having a potential traitor, like you're gonna bounce off it. But if you have the right group of friends, it's cool. If you're just playing it for solo or co-op, it's fun. Like this was a fun playthrough. Like this, but I think this was like showing it off at its best from true solo. In my somewhat limited experience playing a true solo, but I've definitely had some games that just felt like, okay, there wasn't that much intrigue. This one, the fire really ratcheted up the tension. The malfunction. I was again 3 fire tokens away from losing. I'm 2 malfunctions away from losing. I got definitely some lucky pulls from the invader bag that I could have had a really awful. Much I could have had much more invaders. I could have been problematic, but in the way that worked, so it was like thematic and interesting, and it came down to the wire, and got lucky to only have 1 contamination card. But I think true solo is probably not the greatest experience. If you're playing multi-handed solo, I think that gets better. It gets harder, a lot harder, because you're trying to. I mean, the thing that cheeses it to me, that only one character needs to survive in co-op, and I think it'd be better if the official rule was that all characters need to survive, because I think that's really hard to do. It's a little easy to sacrifice a character and be like, all right, well, bye, because I'm just gonna go win over here. But I kind of see why they did that. But I think if the official rule was all characters need to survive in true co-op, I think that really helps the balancing. But the game is best semi co-op, and I think every time you read, I mean, the cards and the different abilities and um, multi-use nature of them. Some of them very much lean into that subversive nature. The 5 extra characters in Aftermath and Void Seeders look awesome. They add a lot, and they also add traits that will enhance the flavor and the playability of all the base game characters. If you have Void Seeders and Aftermath plus the base game, you have 11 characters. They're all very different. In one sense, they all have the same abilities, but they're just better at some things than others. And then they'll all have like 1 or 2 abilities that go above and beyond. It's almost like Maid's Night in that sense, right? Like how every deck is very similar, but there's like differences, the subtle differences that really can really change the flavor of how they feel. There is a 12 character, the medic. The medic is super expensive on the secondary market. It was a Kickstarter exclusive. So I don't foresee ever really getting the medic. I'm not really that upset about it. But the extra characters, I mean, you have like a convict, a psychologist, a CEO who walks around with like a robot. You have an android who her gun is like built into her arm, so she still has 2 free hands. Like it's absolutely nuts how it all comes together. Sajid, this game is in my top 10 games I hate that a lot of people seem to love. Sajid says, if Greg played as a scout, I may have lifted my rating by 0.5. Sajid says, I gave you a thumbs down to never play this game again. Yeah, well, what we'll probably do. I'm not sure how often I'm getting this on the channel. It will definitely be back. There's definitely stuff I want to do with Void Seeders. I might. I'll probably want to do an Aftermath. I'll probably be playing 2-handed co-op at some point, so maybe 3, 4 more times. There's definitely more I want to explore with this game, but this is going to be a more me and my friends game for sure. B Downing, I wanted to buy GF9's Aliens games, but can't seem to find the core game. And the David Coleman, yeah, the characters and expansions are interesting. Jonathan says, game definitely seems fun, and friends would be all about it. Thanks for putting it on the channel. Look forward to seeing more of it to help decide one way or another. Yeah, I mean the objectives are cool. Like you might have an objective where it's like you just have to make sure character 3 dies, like stuff like that. It's like absolutely bananas. So everyone starts the game with like kind of a subversive objective and then like a personal objective. The personal objectives tend to be very friendly, and the corporate objectives are the ones that are more subversive generally. So there's that really interesting balance. And then the things like the escape pods, like you could get in and go right away, or you can decide to stay to let somebody else get in. But if somebody else gets in, they also have to make a roll. And if an intruder shows up, then you're both kicked out. So like you really don't have much incentive to try to let somebody else stay in. It's definitely a good way to turn a victory into a defeat for you. Sad just says, I don't care, man. Happy if you get traction either way. Not all games are for all players. Yeah. I didn't know how much what I feel about this game, but I thought my gaming group would really dig it, and I happened to be right because every once in a while I have a good read. And honestly, I saw it at a price of PAX Unplugged that was too good to pass up for this, and Void Seeders with sun dropped minis and sleeved and the folded space inserts. It was like, okay, I'll take all that, yes please. But I do need to run. My contractor's here, so have a meeting set up with him. The Sagittarius interesting balance objectives that do not relate to the game in my mind. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have that much affinity with the IP. I think the objectives, I mean, if you read the flavor text, I think they all kind of click for me. But yeah, I mean, it's not a game I'm going in expecting too much in that sense. So, but I just think the gameplay is fun. David Coleman, it's interesting thing is you can't directly attack other players. Oh yeah, and then Sad just says fix the roof. Fix the roof. Well, we tore the roof off kind of and built up. So and then built a new roof, and then we have a roof deck. And I don't know. My house is crazy right now. Like at some point during all this process, I felt like I was like an MC Escher painting, where I was like, there are stairs where they don't belong, and somehow the it's crazy. But anyway, this was super fun. I'll be back tomorrow with the playthrough of Swords of the Coin, the second in the set of Watch series. So I think it's another one of the games that Sagitt doesn't really dig. So sorry, dude. We'll be back next week though with Spirit Island, which might be another game he doesn't dig. Sagitt, you're like me, man. Your list of games you don't dig is pretty might be pretty long. So yeah, we'll be back next week with Spirit Island. I'm gonna try to get Dwellings of Eldervale ready. That might be ambitious. I am long overdue to get back to Too Many Bones with the playthrough of Dart. So got some plans for next week that I'm super excited about. I will be at PAX East on Friday. However, I just got a day pass, and I'm meeting up with Andrew from Chip Theory Games for a first look at Elder Scrolls, not Elden Ring. One of the Elder Scrolls, so I'm excited about that. So wish me luck there. Hanging out with Tony all weekend should be a really good time. Get a lot of gaming in. I hope you yourself are also getting a lot of gaming in. Are you ever finishing the construction? Hopefully we'll be done by the end of April. It was a pretty extensive project. We did have about 3 months of delays, but we're getting to the home stretch, and we still love our contractors, so that says a lot, right? Cheers, and hope you get. I was here to poke fun, not to be serious. Oh, dude, come on, man. I appreciate you clarifying, but yeah, man, you're good. Cool. This was super fun. Thank you for an amazing chat. Thanks for the super chats, and I hope everyone has an amazing day. And until next time, happy gaming.
Solo.